So we have some great speakers tonight, and I definitely want to give a lot of time for them to share about their wonderful work that they're doing in the Ahupua'a. So let me first introduce myself for those of you who are new to Honouliuli. My name is Christine Ogura. I'm the superintendent at Honouliuli National Historic Site. This year marks 10 years since President Obama established our park, and it is the largest and longest used incarceration site in Hawaii, who actually had Japanese American incarcerated US citizens there, but it also held prisoners of war during World War II after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So there's a lot of really interesting history here. You talked about, wanting to learn in history, and there's a lot of information you can learn about the park. And we do have every month, as part of the 10th, each month dedicated to theme for different aspects of the park that you can learn. And this month's theme for June is really featuring the Ahupua'a that we're in and the wonderful work that our partners are doing in the Ahupua'a of Honouliuli, which is the largest Ahupua'a on Oahu in the Ewamoku. So if you do want to learn more about the park itself and the history and kind of what we're doing, I'll put a link into the chat for everybody. And also has information for some of the other events that I'll touch on at the end of the talk today of what else is going on for June. But again, I do want to leave a lot of time for our wonderful speakers. The first up, which will be Pauline Sato. She is the co-founder and executive director of Malama Learning Center, who's the driving force in item-based education. With nearly 40 years of experience, Pauline empowers Hawaii communities through environmental education, fostering deep connection to land and culture. Her leadership, grounded in her public school education and supported by degrees from the University of Michigan and the University of Hawaii, has empowered countless individuals to become advocates for the environment. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Pauline to start us off this evening. And then once she is done, we will be joined by Kawika, who I will introduce when he shares about his work in the Ahupua'a as well. So thanks so much, Pauline. We're really all excited to hear what you have to share and the great work that I know you're doing with Malama Learning Center.
Mahalo, Christine. I've known Christine for a long time too, so she didn't mention that. But yeah, probably halfway through my career, I met Christine, and she's so wonderful to have her back in Hawaii after working for the federal government for so long, away from home, but always with the eye to come back. So thank you for coming back. I have some slides that I'm going to share, and first of all, thank you all for spending some time with us to learn about Honouliuli. I have a feeling by looking at the names of the people who joined that many of you are already quite familiar with this place. But I'll just share a little bit about what I know and mostly about what our organization, Malama Learning Center, does within the Ahupua'a of Honouliuli. So I will start my slides. All right, hope that works now. So aloha again, Pauline Sato with Malama Learning Center, and happy to be presenting for in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Honouliuli National Historic Park. So this picture is actually taken from where we work at the Malama Learning Center up at Palehua, which is in the southern Waianae Mountains. And we are so lucky that we get to look at this view of part of Honouliuli Ahupua'a from a vantage point that many people don't get, but we are happy to invite you to come. And I'll speak more about that in a little bit. But yeah, basically this view is from Palehua looking towards Pu'uloa or Pearl Harbor. You can even see Diamond Head or Leahi way back in the distance. All right. Before I get too far, I want to dedicate this talk to my father. I know there's some people in the audience who knew him. His name is Robert Tomiya Sato, and he was in the 100th Infantry Battalion. And I thought it's fitting to talk about that because, for one, looking at Pearl Harbor, he would tell me about the days he saw the airplanes, the Japanese airplanes flying over and bombing Pearl Harbor. But also his father, my grandfather, was interned not at Honouliuli, but actually at Sand Island, and then sent over to Louisiana in the internment camp. So that's part of our family history too. And the irony of it, is really my dad was drafted to fight in World War II, and he, as an American soldier, and he actually visited his father in the internment camp while my dad was wearing his uniform. So strange times, but learning times. And my dad was born in Hawaii, but raised in Japan. He was Kibe, as they say, so he could speak Japanese fluently. And he was known for writing poetry. So I put a poem up that he wrote while he was in Italy in a foxhole. Yeah, I was able to translate them for his celebration of life. So he was born in 1917. I'm not sure how old he would be now. He'd be pretty old, um, about 108 years old. So anyway, Dad, this is for you. Anyway, about myself. So I am born and raised in Hawaii, Honolulu. I love plants, so I have a picture of a plant. I love to grow them. I love native plants especially, but I also grow other types of plants. I love dogs, so I have a picture of my dog Llama, and then I also love to hike with my dog, and one of my favorite places is Molokai, so that's at Kamako Preserve. So I'm an outdoor person, but not necessarily grew up that way. It just kind of grew on me, as we say. This is a picture of our team, part of our team at Malama Learning Center. I'm one of the co-founders. I'm the executive director too, and some of these people in the picture have been with me for almost as long as when we started a little over 20 years ago. And again, we're taking a picture looking at the beautiful view of Pu'uloa from Palehua. And we are located up at Palehua, and we serve mainly communities in Leeward, Oahu. I like to say from Waipahu to Waianae, but not exclusively. So we do also do work with people outside of that region, but we were really created to serve West Oahu. So we were a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit organization formed in Kapolei. So at that time, 2004, Kapolei was still just getting started, known as the second city, but not really a city yet. But now as you go through Kapolei, you'll see, new roads, new buildings, new hotels, all kinds of things coming up. So it's definitely a city. Our vision is that the people of West Oahu, Malama Aina, or take care of the land, nurture the next generation to continue this work, and share their successes. Share their successes with communities across Hawaii and the world. We are all about education. We inspire communities to care for Hawaii by perpetuating conservation, culture, sustainability through education. So I like to tell our team that, while we all have different jobs and some of us might work more in the field and some more with students, we all are educators in one form or the other. And I'm really proud to say that every one of our team members is a good educator, very good educator. So our approach is really to, number one, empower teachers. We work a lot with teachers because we know that they can reach a lot of students themselves. So we have professional development workshops and other courses, online activities that allow teachers who love Aina-based education, as we call it, to share with each other and learn new techniques and learn new ideas. We also like to demonstrate Aina science, as we call it, things on the land and also in the water that are science-based, but science can be looked through different lenses, not always Western science. So we do that through action. We bolster Aina skills like growing plants, native plants. I'll show you pictures later of the many plants that we grow, and we basically collect the seeds ourselves and grow them in our nurseries and replant them. So we're very much into the whole cycle of life. We also highlight Aina-based careers because we would love to have our next generation serving in these jobs to take care of Hawaii. And we also create learning networks, either with teachers, students, and other organizations who do similar work as we do. Our programs are diverse. We have youth programs or OPIO, teacher programs, kumu, programs for the community, Kaiaulu, and also for the land, Aina. And so I'll be sharing a little bit about each of those programs, not in detail, but just to give a highlight of what we do on the land at Honouliuli. So starting with our youth, we like to we have a lot of different areas we take them to. Sorry for my tongue tiedness. We actually have about 7 restoration sites, 6 of them, or no, 5 of them in Honouliuli, the other 2 in Waianae. And we do different things in these restoration sites. We might plant, we might weed, we might grow native plants, we might grow food plants, we might fish for tilapias to take them out of the stream. It's a lot of variety. So our student groups can do a lot of different things. And we really like to expose them to what's here in Hawaii, especially in their communities, to see how they can connect and make their homes better. Some of these quotes that we're putting up from our students, these are real quotes from them where they really feel that, they've met a lot of people that they didn't know at first, whether they're peers or teachers or guest speakers. They learn about their land, they learn about balance in life, and they learn their responsibility. So we do that all through environmental or Aina-based work. As I mentioned, with teachers, they're a huge part of our audience that we serve. We like to provide training opportunities as well as just field trips for them or huaka'i, because teachers don't always have a chance to do something fun just for themselves. So we like to do that and offer them online as well as in-person opportunities. And for many of the teachers, they don't know themselves some of the career paths that are available to people in Hawaii to take care of Aina. So we like to be sure we show them, not just growing plants, but there's many, many ways to be an Aina warrior, as we say. So we love to work with teachers and help them feel more comfortable in Aina, and especially teaching about Aina, because there are some people who would love to do it, but they hesitate. Maybe they don't feel they know as much about certain things or don't know how to pronounce the names or, haven't been on a certain trail. So we want to make them feel comfortable so that they then can take their students on these journeys as well. The community is vast. We love to do outreach events. The picture here, the kids are doing a seed matching activity, so learning what native plant seed might match a picture of the plant. And, it's sometimes not that obvious, but, just by games like this, we like to teach about our Aina. And we also do a lot of plant adoptions or giveaways. We don't like to just call it a giveaway because we want to make sure that whoever takes a plant takes care of it and actually grows it, not just a freebie that they forget about on their lanai, but something that then can serve their family and serve their community. And we do this where people live. The picture on the right is at the villages of Kapolei. We planted a whole bunch of plants there at the recreation center, and the community is very appreciative of it. So we like to do that several times a year. And we also have community work days. We rotate amongst 3 different sites, and we have one coming up on the 2nd Saturday of this month, and we invite you to come to that. We have many people who come to all the different ones time and time again because they like to learn new things, and they also want to feel part of a community that's taking care of Hawaii. So yeah, we always make sure that we provide educational lessons or opportunities. We don't just, tell people to pick up a pick and weed, though that is something we do often. But we always make sure we teach and also give things to people that they can take home. But our real core is really in our nurseries. I mentioned that we grow basically almost 95% of all the plants we plant or give as part of our adoptions are things that we grow ourselves from seed or cuttings. We have two nurseries that we take care of. First at Kapolei High School, that's where we started, and that's where we're very lucky to still be there. So we have a nursery at Kapolei High School that we share with the high school, and then we also have a nursery up at Palehua where we grow more of the forest plants. So the seedlings you see here are lama. It's a native Hawaiian tree. And also in the picture, you'll see lama growing in the larger pots with the reddish young leaves. So lama is a very important native Hawaiian dryland plant. It's a symbol of enlightenment and knowledge. And it's very important that we keep it going. And so we have hundreds of plants growing that in the nurseries as well as out in the field. This is just a shot that we took from a drone where one of the sites that we manage up at Palehua, we have been trying to transform from 100% or almost 100% non-native area to hopefully 100% native area over time. And it's a slow process. It's a difficult process. It's not a garden that we water every day, and Waianae is dry, so we have to plant at the right time and make sure we weed when we can so that the native plants have a chance. But you can see that the barren areas are becoming reforested with natives, which helps with a lot of things, including erosion control, as well as wildfire control. The native plants are also habitat for native species, native birds, native snails, native insects, and also cultural resources as well. So our restoration sites serve as outdoor classrooms and outdoor resources for the community. We love to work in partnerships. That's a theme of this presentation. And so we work with businesses that come and bring their employees over. We work with schools, teachers. So the picture on the left is First Insurance Company of Hawaii. They've volunteered for years and are always helping out. There they are in our nursery. And then on the picture on the right, I specifically put that one because our guest speaker is in that picture. That's at Kalaeloa Heritage Park where our staff went to Kokua. And, we're neighbors in a sense. And we love Uncle Shad Kane, who has been a mentor for us, and in Kawika as well. So we all work together. There is the Olelo No'eau, Ohehana Nui Ke Alu'ia, which means no task is too big when done together by all. So we truly believe in that. Basically, everything we do is with partnerships. And I guess I'd like to close with this, another beautiful view from our parking lot, actually. Hope to entice you to come and visit us because everyone who comes says that it feels so peaceful, and it truly is. It's a wonderful place to be in nature, as well as learning new things and giving back to Hawaii. There is another saying that we like to share. This is from the late Dr. Noah Emmett Aluli, who passed away recently on Molokai. But he was a leader in many sense. And to me, I feel like what he represented, what he did, both as a medical doctor, but as well as a cultural practitioner. He said, "Ola ka aina, ola ke kanaka, ola ka lahui." So the health of the land is the health of the people, is the health of the nation. And we believe in that. That's why we do what we do. And we hope that everyone can join in on this effort. And on that note, I welcome you to join us as a volunteer, as a donor. I know many of you on the call or have been donors and volunteers of us, so we truly appreciate it. We're a small nonprofit. Every dollar counts. Please spread awareness and support not only Malama Learning Center, but any Aina-based group that you can connect with. We have a TV show on OC16 that we feature Aina groups from all over Hawaii. And so that's one way that we can help the cause. So please watch us on OC16. Sundays at 6 p.m. are our typical times, but we run all throughout the week as well. And you can go to our website, malamalearningcenter.org, follow us on social media. And thank you for those who have been following us to learn not only about this presentation, but other things we do. And of course, you can email me at pauline@malamalearningcenter.org. So that is my presentation. The QR code goes to our website. So yeah, if you would like to just learn more about what we do, please go to our website, or you can see what we do on social media. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And oh, good, I think I didn't talk too long. Christine, I told her to cut me off, if I start rambling.
No, you were great. And I have to say, yes, we have known each other for a very long time. And I remember when you started Malama Learning Center. And I only moved back home in September. So Pauline and I actually haven't had a chance to even get together to talk story and catch up. But to hear what you just shared from when you just started to where you are now is incredible. And I know you always give credit to your team and your supporters, but it can't have been possible without your leadership and your vision. So it's just amazing. I just got goosebumps just listening to everything that you shared and just seeing how far you've taken the Malama Learning Center and how much a part of the community it is. And I loved that term, Aina warrior. That is great. So yeah, it was wonderful. Just selfishly, personally, for me to hear your presentation and just be amazed at all the inspiring work that you're doing with kids and students and teachers in the community. And so Pauline talked about volunteering, and she is hosting one of our events, in-person activity events for June as part of our 10th. And I put the event link in the chat there for everybody for all our June events, but you can see the registration for that on that link that I put in the chat. So yeah, we're going to hold off on questions so we can hear from Kawika as well, but stay on, and she is going to be there at the end when Kawika concludes, and we'll open it up for questions for either of them at the end of Kavika's talk. So stay tuned for that, and thank you. And so for now, we'll say goodbye to Pauline, and then we're going to welcome aboard Kawika Lauriano, who is the park manager for Kalaloa Heritage Center. Give him a chance to maybe turn on his camera. And while he's doing that, there we go. Hi, Kawika. I didn't want to start without you. I saw you in the chat or the participant list. So as I said, Kawika is the park manager for Kalailoa Heritage Park, and he'll be speaking about the park and its ancient landscape, really focusing on the park's efforts to preserve its history and land for the community and future generations to come. He'll be talking about the evolution of the Evan Honouliuli from ancient times to the modern day and the significance of Vai in Honouliuli Ahupua'a. So without further ado, I am going to actually share my screen so we can get started. And like Pauline, I will give myself a second here and figure out how to move this so that folks can actually see the screen. So if somebody can verbally just let me know if you can see the screen. Kawika, maybe.
Looks fine, Christine.
Okay, great. So yeah, I will follow your lead and hand it over to you.
Hello, I'm Kawika Lauriano again. I just want to say mahalo for this opportunity. I don't get too many opportunities to present like this, so mahalo to you folks. Um, I'm just gonna start with introducing more about myself and kind of how I got involved with the park. Um, I've been in the park, Kalailua Heritage Park, for 5 years now. Um, and we're all volunteers, 100% volunteer led at the park. um e- uh Sorry. Sorry, I got a little bit nervous. Sorry. Yeah, I started out as a volunteer, and about a year into it, I got asked by Uncle Shad Kane to kind of take a bigger approach at the park and become park manager. And basically what that entail is taking care of all the machinery that we have, our water source, and evolved into doing tours. So with that, everything I talk about is actually what I've learned from Uncle Shad and some of my own research and help from other people. It's a big shoe to fill at the park, especially with the cultural sensitivity at the park. But it led me to opportunities like this, meeting a lot of people and learning my culture and history. Uh, and now I'll start basically how the park got started. Um, so the park is on the former military base, Barbers Point Naval Air Station. Uh, its true name before that is Kanehili. And Kanehili, in short, is basically where the people that were living in that area uh, were praying to the god Kane, and Hili is to strike or break. So the park's coral landscape has sinkholes in it, so that provided water source for the people living in Kanehili. So Kane, the god, had to strike, and he broke holes with his o'o. Um, the park got started in 2011, but this was a result of the closing of the Barbers Point military base. Um, and subsequent to that, Campbell was getting out of sugar um, because they could no longer compete with Puerto Rico with labor costs. So with that comes a talk of new city, Kapolei, uh, and that was through the works of with like the Kapolei Hawaiian Civic Club and Professor Rubalite Johnson. Um, and with the base closure, the park is site 1753 in the archaeological survey. Uh, it has 170 cultural sites, and we also have one World War II Avenger plane crash inside there. That's part of our tours. The Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Um, the park serves as a cultural resource, a community resource. Um, we have with this coral landscape, there's a holly site and agricultural sinkholes and freshwater sinkholes. Um, all of Eva, and what I mean by that is from Nanakuli to Waipahu, there's no above ground rivers. Everything travels through underground sinkholes or karst system. So that's water traveling from the higher elevations to the lower elevations. Uh, Through time, uh, we're talking about a time when the overthrow had happened and uh, plantation had taken over. Water was diverted from this area. So with that, the people living in this area had to leave. there's no water source in Evo. Uh, sorry, sorry, I'm kind of nervous. um, yeah, the people living in this area use the agricultural sinkholes with that water flowing from the higher elevations to the lower elevations to live a subsistence type of living. Yeah, the ocean resource and fresh water through the sinkholes. Um, sorry, wait, hang on. You can flip. Yeah, sorry. But with that, us being an educational resource, um, we work with youth groups. Um, oh, sorry, wait, hang on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, with Uncle Shad and we had a chance to work with schools, youth groups. So with that, we're educational resource for the park and the surrounding community. Um, yeah, that right there in that sink, that's their freshwater sinkhole. Again, how I said, water flowed from the higher elevations to the lower elevations. This current picture was a drinking resource. There's a resource for drinking water. And ne- next, sorry, can flip one more time, please. One more. Oh yeah. So at the park, we do a lot of caring for native plants. We have the not sandalwood, the Evanayo. We have Ilima, um, Eva Coco, the Eva Hina Hina, uh, Willy Willy, uh, and they're all native to Eva area. They're all coastal Eva plants. Uh, sorry. The park also has remnants of or and um, burials, above ground burials, and those above ground burials were in a time where in the latter parts of the 1800s when people were leaving Eva. Prior to that, they were all buried in the sand areas. Um, but the coral structures are built in a Tahitian manner, not in what we know as a Hawaiian dry stacking. Uh, it's upright stones filled with rubble in the center. Yeah. Uh, it's authentic. It's no restoration. It's structures that have been standing from the carbon dates of 1300s to the 1600s. So just to give you an idea of how old these structures are, uh, because of the cultural sensitivity of the structures, everything we do around the park is by hand. Not We don't use a lot of machinery to clear and care for all these cultural sites. So with that, it's kind of hard sometimes, you know, doing everything by hand and keeping volunteers. Uh, that's been one of our hardest things to do is keeping volunteers and having returning volunteers. And it's a hot landscape. By midday, it's burning. So a lot of it is hard in that sense. So, but I'm thankful I have the opportunity in my current work schedule to help care for all of these cultural sites. Uh, we Um, sorry, it's kind of hard, when I don't have a feedback. The It's really hard. To explain the park is hard for me, but these pictures is my idea to give people a sense of how important this park is. It's a sense of history, a sense of identity, and you won't really find any of these cultural sites anywhere on Oahu, but at the Kalailo Heritage Park. It's because of its structures and coral landscape. Yeah, so uh, it's a big sense of our identity. Um, and yeah, those are all our native plants that we work with: the Mayapilo, Willy Willy, uh, A'ali'i, and Ko'oloa. Uh, we don't have any water source at the park, so thankfully we have partnerships with other surrounding people in the community that deliver water to us so we can water our plants and have engagement with community. um, yeah, um, kind of concludes what mostly I have to say. If there's questions after this, I'd be more than happy to answer, if that's okay. I mean, just to have a conversation.
Let's see. Okay. No, so thank you. So it's actually interesting, Kavika. I learned also with Pauline that even though the park's been in existence for 10 years since Obama established us, really kind of the on the ground work for the park too. It's been staffing capacity. The superintendent position was only established in 2021, so fairly recent. And only just this year do we actually have more than myself as staff. So we have a biological technician and a park archaeologist. So, like you said, volunteers, right? It really takes an army, it takes a village to do this type of important work. So, I'm sharing this with you all because definitely, I think there's so much that I in the park can learn from what you guys have already been doing in the Ahupua'a. And we share things alike already that I really look forward to future conversations with both of you to learn from you all and how we can continue to collaborate and leverage our resources for the greater Ahupua'a. But we have Willy Willy at the park too, and Pauline and Kavika. Next year, I do hope to focus on some of our native species and some restoration work on the ground. Kavika, I learned that we share sinkholes in common. The park too has limestone sinkholes. And we too share the history of the land transferring from James Campbell. So the lands were formerly Oahu Sugar Plantation, and we have the Waiahole Ditch running through the park. So we too share this kind of agricultural history in former James Campbell land. So I really look forward to talking story more with you about your history there, Kavika. So yeah, I definitely want to leave time for some great conversations and questions with the great work with both Kavika and Pauline and what you shared. So I think folks have an opportunity um, to ask them directly to the hosts or to Wes, who is behind the scenes with Pacific Historic Parks, the parks nonprofit that is hosting this series of virtual speakers. So if anybody wants to have some more conversation to learn more about what both Pauline and Kavika shared, please feel free to either chat directly to the hosts or myself, and we can definitely have those questions answered.
Am I muted? Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh. No, I just wanted to say, Kavika, I know it's hard talking and you have no response, right? I'm like, am I talking in a box or, is anybody there? So I feel for you. I It's a
Yes.
tough job, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's different for me. Again, this is kind of my first presentation like this. Usually I'm like on it at the park,
Yeah, no,
but
it's
I'm there.
yeah,
So,
we love going on
but
the hikes with you, and I really encourage people to go visit. That you are growing all those beautiful plants without a stable water source is incredible. And it's beautiful there. I cannot understate how it's like an oasis in the middle of a field of kiawe trees and other invasives. But you guys are doing a fabulous job. So thank you.
thank you, thank you. Hopefully, we can all collaborate in the Evamoku with each other.
Yeah, yeah, especially with
Work.
the National Historic Site too, because we have a
Yeah,
site right next to there too at Kunia, so we're close by.
yeah.
Okay, I see a question. Somebody's asking.
I do. We have questions from Keoki and Virginia. I think Keoki might have had his hand up first. So I think Wes, do you have to unmute him or can Keoki unmute himself? There we
Oh,
go.
I can unmute myself. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for your guys' presentation. Um, Pauline and Kawika, I think you might know me because I'm like a core volunteer person that helps your guys' organization so much. And as myself, I take also a role as a not like a resource guy for nonprofit and state agencies that does conservation work. So I have volunteered throughout this whole island and push a lot of volunteerism to people who are visiting, people who are, in the communities. I talk stories with them, trying to get them educated and getting out there to help you guys out a lot. My question though would be like the outreach part. So for both of you guys, I understand that we're in Honouliuli, Aopua, and I think I heard from you, Pauline, that the vision is like focusing on West Oahu. But is there any like outreach to like maybe throughout the whole island, like Kohuku all the way to like the windward side? Has anybody come out from around those schools, or anybody reached out to come out to your organization? And if so, like how do you provide that? Like as a person as myself as an INA educator for Kamananui Valley, it's like so hard to bring them out because of buses. But do you have kind of like in the same situation like like as myself as a nonprofit uh organization person?
Oh, she's muted.
Pauline, sorry, you're muted.
Okay, sorry, I'll speak first. I think we all face that bus issue. It's statewide, island-wide, statewide, so it's hard to have um, to rent the bus, even get the bus, and then the timing of it. So if they come from Kahuku, they leave school and they spend like 2 minutes at the site and then they got to go back. So it's not really worth it. But we have had some when we can. We've had teachers from Kahuku, other places, other people from other places come, but it's very difficult on a school day. And that's just logistically the state of the situation. So we need our own AINA buses. If any of you work for a bus company and want to donate some buses and bus drivers, let us know. We'll make use of them every single day. But yeah, I think that's the same, Kavika. You must have that same situation. People have a hard time coming, just like, getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. That yeah, we've actually been more on the Eva side, and
Mm-hmm.
what you like. I've in the time I've been at the park, I don't recall having anyone from the eastern or northern sides of the islands. It's always been on the leeward and somewhere close. Again, I think it's for that reason of bus scheduling, time frames, uh, but and on top of that, it's the park too. Yeah, like because we're all volunteers, I'm fortunate to be there on Fridays, which is thankfully a weekday, but the bus schedules are always taken on Fridays, so a lot of times they'll request for a Wednesday, and we kind of, you know, adjust and find docents to accommodate. As far as outreach, like our platforms, our social media platforms, is ways we try to communicate with everyone. We recently um we're in talks of trying to figure that out, like how to get more bus, because there's unfortunate kids in certain areas, yeah. How to help financially to get buses. So I can definitely reach out to Kyoki and work out that type of thing, yeah, if that helps, and him spreading the word to our nonprofits is a big help, you know. But I'd be more than happy um, to work with anyone that would like to come and is educational base to get them out.
See, we have another question from Virginia had her hand up, but know if you
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Kawika. Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Virginia.
Hello.
um, my name is Virginia, and I work with Malama Learning Center, so I get to work with Pauline. I am the community partnership coordinator and education coordinator. So I do work with volunteers, and I definitely understand, Kavika. It get really hard to get volunteers and to keep them coming. So I kind of similar to Kyoki. I was wondering, do you have, maybe I missed it, like days where you guys have like work days? I also live in the neighborhood right near the park, Kalailoa. And I'm not sure if my neighbors even know that the park exists or if they can even volunteer. So what would be I guess the question is, when can volunteers volunteer and what's the best way to sign up for opportunities?
Oh, so currently right now, like Uncle Shad has kind of stepped down a little, so right now I'm there every Friday from 8:30 to 12. And if you ever want to come, and the gate is open, please, don't hesitate, just come in and you'll see me. Usually we park right by our, there's a hale in the center, so you can park right over there. And if I'm in the back, you can come look for me. You can come on the trail. You can also request to come through our website, the Kalailoa Heritage Park.org, um, and click the request a visit. And me and another board member gets the email, so I'll be first to see it and reach out to anyone. But we usually have end of the month work days, so it's usually the last Saturday of every month. Uh, Currently, this month I won't have any. I'm in some work meetings, so I can't commit to this month. But I'm looking to have one in July, which would be the last Saturday in July. But again, any Friday, if you guys are available, I know everybody works, Monday, mostly Monday through Friday. But if they have time, please do come.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll see if the gate's open next time I drive past. If not,
Yeah,
definitely send an email. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
thank you. Um, just so especially with the park. I mean, thankfully we've had a lot of businesses, whether that be development companies. I mean, they've donated a lot to us. Some of that is like Dawson, um, some NHOAs, some Native Hawaiian organizations have helped. Uh, Gentry has helped. And usually how it goes is they come and set up a work day at the park. I do a tour, and we do hands-on work. It's not always easy work. It can range from watering to pulling weeds to cutting kiave, and I try to tailor the work through people's capabilities. Like I don't want to force anyone into doing something they're not comfortable, because again, number one is safety. You know, that's the number one thing, and we're all volunteers, so I don't want you to feel like you're working over than what you expected. But we appreciate any and every work because it never stops. Caring for the place never stops. And it's all in effort to make sure future generations are able to see this cultural evidence. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say, Kavika, I mean, we're small, but I feel like mighty team at the park at Honouliuli. So you can count on us to come out on one of your Fridays, and I'm gonna make it a team building work day to come out and help at your park. So I'll follow up
Thank
with
you.
you separately to do that. We'd love to see the wonderful land that you're um, shepherding and learn from you too. And yeah, I think we have a lot of things in common too that, yeah, it'd be great to come out and help you. So thanks for sharing that information and those opportunities.
Just
All right.
one more thing. If Kyoki, if you don't mind reaching out to me, I'd love to again try and work out some kind of schedule. If schools on that side of the island would love to come out.
Yeah, of course. I can help you out on that. I think I emailed you on my work email. The education at ngfhawaii.org
Oh,
is
okay.
me. That's
Oh, okay.
that's me.
Oh,
So
perfect.
yeah.
I love it. That's great. This is what all this is about, working together, because none of us can do any of this work alone. And so it's great to be able to find more partners and have such great connections. So we do probably have time for maybe one more question if anybody has a question for either Pauline or Kavika. Okay, I have one that was sent to me about the work that you both do with schools. So what's been the most rewarding part of working with schools?
For me or Pauline or both?
It's to both of you.
Oh, I'll let Pauline answer her first. Yeah.
You already unmuted. Okay. What's the most rewarding part of working with schools? Um, every school is different, but we work a lot with leverage schools, yeah. And so I think for many schools, they don't get out much. They don't have the opportunity to go on a lot of field trips. So we try to make it as special as possible and teach what I love to teach. And I maybe repeat this too often, but a lot of our kids have, names that have Hawaiian plant names in them, like koa or, some other plant part that maybe some of these kids have never seen that plant before in their lives. So we love to be able to show a real koa tree and say, hey, you were named after this tree. That means somebody believed that you could be strong and tall and a warrior, because that's what koa is, right? So I think building that connection to people, their place, their names, their identity, that is really important for us, and I think important for our whole society. If we're all gonna, live on these islands together and take care of them for future generations, we have to be knowledgeable. Um, we have to be proud of who we are, where we come from, and we have to have a sense of kuleana, or taking care. Like it's not somebody else's job, but it's our job, everyone's job, to take care of Hawaii. And I love to share that with students, and many of them take that to heart. Your turn, Kavika.
Right. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I even tell when I'm working with schools, and again, I've worked with various grades from elementary to high school. I always tell them I envy them a little because one, when I was in school, there weren't Aina based programs. There weren't everything was classroom oriented, So I envy them because I feel like for me and my type of learning, being hands on, and wishing I had a chance to be at a place that was in tune with culture. Like I didn't have those opportunities in school, so I envy them. And with that, I tell them, it's trying to encourage them to learn more about the culture and their culture. It's also rewarding to share to these kids of where they are on this. I know that we're working on and sharing the history. Try not to talk too much because it can go right over their head, but just watching them being able to touch the ground, touch the plant, touch and feel connected and feel like they're giving a contribution to the place can set off a bunch of emotions that might take them in a whole nother direction. Yeah. So that's always been the most rewarding, and sharing that, uh, it's all about relationships. You know, even in our history, it's partially about relationships and knowing your responsibilities. So, and again, I tell them I envy that because I wish sometimes I was talked to in that sense. Maybe I would have got involved with the park earlier. I don't know, but or had a chance. But it's just giving that sense of relationship and responsibility and being in touch with the land, because I see how the kids actually connect that way by the simple act of doing, you know. Yeah, that's been my most rewarding thing.
Yeah. So the person says, thank you for sharing that. You both, it's really important that you do work with schools, and it's so important for the sense of responsibility that you talked about, to instill in them. So thank you so much for the important work that you're doing with our schools. Great. Well, thank you so much. I am just going to wrap up real quick with one other opportunity this week or this month for in person. So, number one, thank you to both Pauline and Kawika for sharing your time, your mano with us this evening, and all the wonderful work that you are doing as part of the larger Ahupua in Honouliuli. Again, one of our in person activities will be with Pauline this month, and it sounds like we'll have maybe. We should schedule an in-person opportunity to volunteer at your park, Kawika, too, as well. But this month, Pauline's Malama Learning Center is providing that opportunity for some work days there. The other in-person activity that we're having this month is part of the 10th anniversary. For folks who do want to learn more about that Japanese American incarceration history here in Hawaii. And thank you, Pauline, for sharing your personal story and your connection with us about your family history on that. Part of the Pacific Historic Parks sponsorship is not only of these virtual speaker series, but they are sponsoring free screening of the Untold story at the Doris Duke Theater at Honolulu Museum of Art. So the tickets are free, but you do have to register for them to get a ticket. That's on June 22nd at 2 p.m. So that local documentary produced and directed does talk about Honouliuli and some other Japanese American incarceration sites in Hawaii. And it will be followed by a panel session with the producer, the former president of Japanese Cultural Center Hawaii, Carol Hayashino, who led the effort to establish Honouliuli as a national park, and then Sandy Chang, who's a descendant and her grandfather was held at Honouliuli. So if you'd like to learn more about the park and its history and Honouliuli, please visit a link in the chat that I gave to register for the film screening on June 22nd. So with that, again, my big mahalo to Pauline and Kawika for sharing the wonderful work that you both do, and for everybody on this presentation today for sharing your time to take out of your busy schedules and an evening to learn more about what's happening in our wonderful Ahupua'a. So thank you for joining, and we look forward to having you in future events as well. Have a good evening and dinner for some of you, maybe. Oh. All right. Maybe a dog walk after, right? Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye bye.